Start streaming. I think that we are streaming now. And it looks like we are. Hey, welcome everybody who's watching this in the future. Test number 3. So, hey, yeah, if you're watching this in the future, you could probably skip forward maybe for the next, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes or so. We're going to dive into the pedal pretty soon. But for the time being, we're just going to, I'm going to give it a couple of minutes, let some people trickle in. So, you know, if you want to dive into the pedal, like I said, yeah, probably about 2 or 3 minutes or so. Just go ahead and skip ahead. And for anyone who's walking in right now, welcome. Glad to have you. Looks like there's 3 viewers here. Introduce yourselves. 4 of you now. Hi, I'm Jamie. It's nice to meet you. How you guys doing? Tell me your name. Tell me where you're from. And while you do that, as you can see, I just put a new set of strings on. Ooh, I shake the whole camera. Wow. I just put a new set of strings on this bass, so I'm just going to be stretching these guys out for a little bit. That's important to do. Gotta stretch out your strings. 7 people watching now. And by the way, there is about a maybe 40-second delay between us. 10 people watching. Hey, welcome everyone. Glad to have you here. Please, please say hi. Tell me your name. Tell me where you're from. Phil is going to be here in just a little bit. Today, we are checking out this bad boy, sorry, get it in focus there. The Phil Jones bass PE-5. It's a preamp DI pedal that we're going to, I've not heard it yet. I've not even plugged into it. Don't know what it sounds like, so we're gonna do all that together. Hey, we got Richard from Calgary. Welcome, greetings from Phoenix with Isaac. Isaac, how you doing? David Carnes, glad to be here from Nashville. I'm glad you're here too. I'm from Los Angeles, but right now we're coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada, baby. Woo! Sorry, like I said, right now I just put a new set of strings on this bass, so just trying to stretch them out a little bit, you know, kind of get them ready for the show. What kind of basses you guys play? Actually, a good question. Anyone here seen this pedal before, used it already, or use any other awesome Phil Jones gear? I've had a couple of their products in here. They did a really cool headphone amp. You know what? We'll save opening this. I was about to get it plugged in and everything. We'll wait for Phil to get here. By the way, Phil Jones is going to be here. I was almost going to say in the flesh. I mean, not really, not in this room. He's in his room on the other side of the country right now. So he's going to join us over Zoom. But so if you guys have any questions about Phil, this product or any of the other things that he's made or anything things we talk about today, he'll be here to answer all of your questions. Unless you're watching this in the future, and it would have already happened. Richard, yours is on the way. Nice, nice. I'm sorry that I get to play it before you, but sorry, not sorry. David, Fender, Warrior, Spectre. Man, Warrior's bass I don't see very often. That's awesome. Hey, Kalfu, saludos. Salute to you too, man. How long have we been? I just want to give it a couple of minutes to let people come in. Make sure we're not missing anybody. Yeah, it's about 3 minutes in. All right, let's do this. Hey, Phil, if you want to join the conversation now, I think I've gotcha. Can you unmute your audio for me?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hey, chat, would you guys mind just giving me a thumbs up? Let me know if you guys can hear Phil. Phil, just count to 5.
1, 2, what comes after that? 3,
Who's
4, and 5.
All right, guys, could you let me know? Just Phil's too loud, can't hear him at all. Please, just let me know. I'm going to go put the bass back. Phil, say hi to everybody.
Hey, hi, everybody. Hey, Dave Carnes, we miss you.
Oh, you
I
know
gotta
Dave.
say one thing.
Yes, please.
Dave was the first guy, I think, ever in the US to see PJB, and he actually has one of our cabinet serial number 001.
001?
Yeah, and I think it's still gigging. Yeah.
Dang, that's awesome.
I think all the Tolex came off it because it's been going 18 years or more, but he redid it in white. It looks amazing in white. Yeah.
Oh, nice, man. That's awesome, dude. Well, hey, good to have everyone here. Isaac and Richard and David and Alistair. I've not met an Alistair before. That's awesome. By the way, chat, just let me say this really quick. I know that your chats are not over here. They're not popping up on either of these screens. You're only going to see them on this one because I'm a Twitch streamer. YouTube is really not good for live streaming, so they're just not showing up. Don't ask why. But we'll be able to see your questions on the website. We can see them. And anytime I go back to this screen, we'll throw you up there too. But anyways, we can see you. We know you're here. Thanks for being here, everybody. Phil, before we get going, man, how have you been? It's been a couple of months since I last seen you. Life treating you well, dude?
Yeah, I got my first vaccine.
I did too yesterday.
Great, good. And
my left arm is really sore.
Almost 200-mile round trip for it, but I guess that
Whoa.
it's better to do that than to take the risk of waiting any longer.
Where do you live that it was 200 miles away?
I live in Chesterfield, and we had to go like 100 miles down south to a place called Perryville,
Yikes.
Missouri, which I'd never been to before. And I'll have to go back on the 14th of my second shot, So then
gotcha.
Hopefully everything's okay after that,
Yeah. We do our second shot, I think, in May 1st or something like that.
Good. Glad to hear that.
Peter Davy Duck says, "Hi, Phil. So long. Good to see you."
Yeah, great. Good to hear you, Peter. How's it up there in Canada?
Peter, how are you in Canada? I've never been to Canada before.
What?
I don't know how it's happened. I've played Alaska. I mean, we flew over Canada to get there, but nothing's ever brought me to Canada before.
Well, I used to live in New Hampshire, and we could drive 4 hours and get to Montreal. So it was
I used to spend like almost every weekend in Mexico. I grew up in Los Angeles, so I mean, like, once a month.
Oh, yeah, so it's kind of similar.
Yeah, we went to Tijuana once a month at least. But yeah, Canada, that one's a drive for us. We never made it up there.
Yeah, it would be for where you are.
Yeah, that's all good. Well, man, for anyone who doesn't know, we've had Phil on the Basis podcast before. I don't know, it was maybe 3-4 months ago, something like that.
Yeah.
Phil's a friend. I'm a fan of you, Phil. I don't know if you're a fan of me.
I'm a fan of you too. I mean, I think you do great work.
Love
your
thank you.
videos.
Thank you. You're far too kind. But anyways, what we're here to talk about today is this guy. Now, all I've done is plugged it in and powered it on to make sure that it was getting signal, but that's it. Okay, so this really is going to be my first impression talking through or experimenting with this pedal. So if anyone hasn't been to one of these before, here's what I'm going to do. Nothing's prepared. Okay, I'm going to tweak every knob and plug in a bunch of different basses. Normally, I've got a wide angle that shows you the whole entire room. There's 12 basses in here. You can't see them because I'm using that camera to show you this right now. So you guys will be able to tell me, hey, plug in a Stingray, plug in the 5-string, something with flat wounds. You guys are going to get to participate as well. And that's all we're going to do. It's the first time I'm going to plug in, and we're just going to explore it together. So, Phil, is there anything you want to say about this before we kind of dive into it?
It's an extension of like some of the work we've done in the past. Many years ago, I wanted to make an EQ that was fairly simple for most people to handle and be effective on just about every kind of bass and genre of music.
Uh-huh.
So the first time that EQ was seen was in the briefcase amplifier and the bass body we did, and eventually, we made the whole thing into a pedal. So
Sure.
That's really basically. But that's a very tried and trusted EQ we've had for a very long time, and we've just updated the electronics to make it quieter, and that's it.
Quieter. How so? You mean like just less noise on the
signal
gain?
to noise ratio. Yeah, I mean the original one was done with the old school, PCB and soldered components. And a while ago we invested in a computer automated, how can I say, PCB. It's actually surface mount PCB assembly line.
For putting it in a pedal board form?
Yeah, so all the components, because they're closer together and it's more compact.
Gotcha.
You have less, less interact. It actually picks up, less noise. It's actually a lower, quieter signal to noise ratio on it.
So I recognize the 5-band EQ because I've you guys sent over the which one is it, the BP-800? Is that the big dog head?
It's
yeah. So it's that same EQ section.
Same EQ.
So it's not quieter from that version, or you know what I mean when you say like it's the noise is quieter.
Signal to noise ratio is like hiss or hum or any other kind of artifact you don't want, and particularly in a pedal, because it's going at the front end of the chain. That's where you're going to amplify everything. So the lower the noise you have off your outboard electronics before your amp, the better off you are.
Right. Very cool, man. Awesome. Oh, and hey, Roots, base Canada. Hi from CA meaning Canada. I was gonna say your name says Canada, but CA here means California. That doesn't make sense. But hey, we're glad you're here. All right, well, let's open this bad boy up, man. This is what's in the box. What's in the box? Comes wrapped. Very nice. I don't know if there's a manual in there. No, probably don't need a manual. We got you.
It has a manual. Yeah, it should be,
All right, maybe I tossed it aside already.
Yeah, that's the normal thing to do.
This is what we're looking at. I see 5 band EQ up on top, a level and a gain knob, mute switch and an on switch. On the side, we got XLR out and the 1/4-inch output, 1/4-inch input. I'll ask you, this is the 9-volt for power, and I don't really know what that is. We'll find out from you. And then 2 switches over here, pre and post, and then an on and an off. I don't really know what that's going to do, but that's the pedal we're working with. So you've got one in your hands. You want to tell us a little bit about it, kind of go through them each?
Yeah, the thing also with this pedal is it has a built-in lithium-ion battery, which is why there's a USB charger on there. So
you can charge this with a USB-C cable?
So so you don't need
you don't even need the power.
Yeah,
bro, that's brilliant. I've seen a lot of like pedal manufacturers making like brick chargers where you can charge this thing up and it'll run your pedal board for you for a couple hours. But I've not. Maybe I'm ignorant. Are there pedals? Are you the first one to put that in a pedal, or are other people doing that?
I don't know. I mean, it just kind of made sense. We did the HA2 headphone, amp, which had a lithium battery, and I said, well, let's put one in. We're experienced with lithium batteries in our factory, and we said, let's put one in the pedal because the current drain isn't that much, so the battery lasts quite a long time. I was going to say,
So how long do you get on it? Do you know?
Gee, I don't know. I mean, long enough for me to get bored with it,
I mean, at least 4 hours, or?
Oh yeah, more than that. I mean,
long enough to get through a gig. Wow.
Yeah. I would say, you could probably leave it on all day and it'll still have some juice at the end of the night,
Dang.
But I can't guarantee, I should do a test on that actually sometime. I just don't want to be sitting around waiting for the light to go off, like 10 hours later or something.
Yeah, well, you just put a camera on it and then review the footage. David over here's got a question, says, does the pedal board power charge the battery or USB charging only?
USB charging only, because what you don't want to do is overcharge the battery, and have, like, the thing blowing up in your pedal.
Because the more you charge the lithium ion, the less power it gets over time.
Yeah. As soon as you plug in that 9-volt, it disconnects from the battery. That's why. That's why you have an on-off switch, so you can make sure your battery is not going to discharge.
Gotcha. And Veronica says, hi, this is a bit strange for me. Hello, Veronica. I'm glad you're here. Veronica's one of my friends over on Twitch. She doesn't come over here on YouTube. So I'm glad you're here, Veronica. Thanks. Canada says, love your shirt. Where did you get it? Where did I get this? Oh, this is one of my, you guys can't see it. This is a cancer charity that my wife and I adore. They're called fuckcancer.com.
Well, I like that,
Yeah.
My wife recently had cancer. And
my wife too, 6 years ago.
Wow.
6 years ago, she had stage 4 lymphoma, and
oh no, okay.
Yeah, and here we are. We're doing good, but it's just it's a punk rock charity. Everything. I mean, obviously, it's called Fuck Cancer. It's got an edge to it, so very much in your face. And it's one of my favorite things because people will come up and be like, "Man, I kind of find that offensive. That word offensive." Like, yeah, me too. I'm also offended by the word cancer.
Yeah, me too.
The F word, that's the one you're upset about? So, yeah. It's a great, if you're into punk rock and metal and you want to support a good cause, fuckcancer.org or .com. You can check them out. But thank you, Canada. I appreciate that. Sorry, Phil, you want to keep going through just kind of, you got as far as the wireless or the USB charger. That's as far as we got so far.
Yeah, the USB charger, it's got like a little LED there to say whether it's fully charged or not.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah. Wow. So, we thought about a lot of things on this pedal because, it's not a cheap pedal, but we wanted to give something that would last, for as long as you ever needed it.
Sure, yeah.
Like you could see the quality of all the components on it are just top notch, And,
it is rock solid. Yeah, it feels like a tank. It's nothing's gonna break.
And it's got an unusual feature, which I can show you here. Is you see that's the input jack. Underneath is a switch. It says
piezo
PZMG.
Yeah, what's MG?
Well, MG stands for magnetic.
And then
Magnetic
PZ for
pickups,
piezo.
piezo. So if you're an upright player, you might be familiar with like the gauge realist pickup. You know, it needs a high impedance buffer. And what this does, it switches between 1 megohm and 10 megohm. And so if you have a typical 1 megohm input impedance, you'll find your bass is a little shy on the bottom end. And this gives you the full range of that pickup or any kind of piezo pickup.
So if you're a double bassist, this one, switching over to the piezo setting will make your double bass sound better.
Oh yeah.
Than if you were just to plug into any
more
other DI
range,
that doesn't have
more
that.
full range, yeah.
Full range, that's the word. Yeah. Nice.
So, you know, this is a great unit for not just upright and electric, but for recording. You know, you can go into the studio and just have this with your bass and get the sound you're looking for.
I'm curious, what would happen if I plug in a precision bass, a passive P bass, and I go over to that piezo setting? What's going to happen there?
Not much. You know, it might feel a little more bloomy on the bottom end, but I don't think you'll really notice that much in the tone of the signal.
But on quieter instruments, you would definitely notice, like a double bass.
You might get a bit more noise because of the mismatch of
the impedance,
output impedance on the pickup to the input impedance of this.
Nice.
But, you know, with a piezo, they're very delicate. They're very easily loaded by low amplifier input impedance. And,
gotcha.
You know, you'll find that if you have a typical like guitar amp 1 meg input impedance, it's really too low for a piezo. It needs, you know, at least 5 meg. So we made a 10 meg one, so it gives you the full frequency range,
spectrum,
those full fundamentals coming through, you know, unhindered.
I wish I hadn't sold my upright bass. I sold it before we moved. We moved here to Vegas about a year ago, and I was like, man, I'm not gonna. We moved to a smaller house, much smaller. It's like I don't have room for a double bass, and I'm kicking myself every day for it.
Yeah, I have a double bass, but it's a pain in the butt. It's a carved wood one, and it's very temperamental in winter, you know.
They are. You know what? If I was to get another one, I would just get like a Ned Steinberger, even though
I have one of those,
I'm a classical double bassist, so the electric double bass is not in the they're close, but they're still not in the ballpark. But I'll take that any day of the week over a big-ass monster instrument.
You know, I would never want to go and gig with mine.
Yeah.
It'd be too much of an accident waiting to happen.
Totally. And hey, we got a question over here from Marcel. Hey, Marcel, good to see you here. If you're the Marcel that I think I know from Twitch, thanks for hanging out with us today on YouTube. But you say, does it have any kind of compressor on it? I'm going to say no because I don't see any knobs for it. Phil, can you confirm?
It doesn't. But let me tell you something.
Tell me.
We have a compressor coming out that's never been seen before in any field, and it's unique. It's
anything you can say about it to kind of tease us a little bit?
I'll tell you about it.
Please.
It's your bass signal goes into the compressor pedal, but before it goes to the compressor, it has a variable crossover. So it's split 2 ways between low and high.
So it's like a multi-band compressor.
Yeah, it's a multi-band compressor, but you can vary that frequency. You know, so you can go from between 100 and 500 hertz in frequency.
That's awesome. That's my favorite feature of a multi-band compressor.
And then
is
you have
being able to adjust where the low end cuts.
You have the attack and sustain, decay, you know, and so on about the compression. But also, you can then blend the two, so you can tilt the tone of the bass. You know,
tilt.
So it's a bass. If you're a bit bass heavy, for example, you can roll the blend control to the upper compressor.
Yeah, compress the upper mids rather, or the upper lower, whatever.
Yeah, and you can change. So if you know, it's the only way I can describe it. It's very smooth. But on top of that, the compressor has ascend and return on each compressor. So you can put effects pedals.
You can send the top end to a distortion pedal so that it doesn't.
Yeah, and you can put the bottom end to an octavider or something.
Yeah, that's
and
brilliant.
And then you can blend, and it has a blend. We have it out right now with a friend of mine. I wanted to give it to him to get some feedback. I said, don't review it, you know, whatever you do.
Not
because
yet.
It's still secret and it's a prototype.
Everyone here, don't tell anyone. Not yet.
But it'll be coming out this year. And
that's cool, man.
There's 3 bass players who've tried it out so far, and everybody said it's remarkable.
That's cool.
And they said it sounds like a $4,000 studio compressor.
All right, I want to be bass player number 4. So as soon as you got a 4th one, let me know.
Well, I'd love to have sent it to you, but there's only one, and I'm without it right now. So we redesigned the PCB to accept because as I was playing around with it, I said, what if I put like a send and return on each compressor so I can mix pedals with it as well?
That's badass.
So yeah,
or I mean, technically, you could even like if you had two amplifiers, like the old like Billy Sheehan trick, like instead of having two pickups, you could just go to the pedal and use it as a splitter, basically.
Like if you got like a 15 and a 410 or something, you could split the
you could just bi-amp it right there.
The sub into one and the highs into the other one. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Bi-amp system. Yeah.
I like that. So not on this pedal, but that's something that's in the works.
It's coming. Yeah, and we'll have a single band compressor as well coming out.
Awesome. And it looks like we got a couple of double bass players in here. Marcel and Roots Canada's 95% a double bass player.
Okay.
But still looking to build his first bass rig. So we'll see if we convince you today if this needs to be on your electric bass. I'll bet it will. I'm not going to lie. Okay, so Phil, let's keep going through the features. We got the lithium-ion charger. Power, it can go piezo or magnetic pickup, so it's great for double bass. Otherwise, what else we got on here?
Well, you've got foot switches is your mute here, so you can mute your bass here.
Excellent feature. I know that sounds pretty basic, but a lot of pedals skip that, and that's so important. It's not even funny.
And then your bypass, so on and off bypass there.
Bypass. Okay, hold on. Is bypass just bypassing the EQ?
It bypass the whole circuit. Yeah, it's just a true bypass.
What about the level and the gain? Are those unaffected by the bypass?
That's pretty much because you want to really set that to the EQ to match your bass, I guess. Or if you wanted a solo and you want a little bit more level, you can put the EQ on and get a little bit more gain. And maybe a little bit more of a cut through to get your bass to punch through at that point.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things. I didn't want to make it complicated so much that you kind of get confused of how to work it. It's going to be in a live environment on the floor in a stage, and you just want to be able to intuitively know how it's going to do it.
You know what? This is unrelated, but on my Discord server, we were having a discussion this morning. Someone asked, like, what do you prefer? Top, like input jacks on your bass. Do you like to feed in from the top or from the side? And I was like, top. Always, always, always. I want to put the cable directly on the body, not on the side, because when you're on stage and all of a sudden your signal cuts out, and it's going to, when it does, if I can look down and you've got one of the top loading input jacks or cables, I can just grab it and wiggle it and I can see really quickly what's going on. Whereas if it's on the bottom or on the side or on the back, well, now I got to take my hands off the strings, go like this and go, start moving it around. I know it only adds a couple of seconds, but I said, you're on stage, you're mid-song, your sound cut out. You got to fix it as quickly as possible and to just look down and be like, oh, it's unplugged. And get right back to it. So those little tiny things of, does that really matter? Yes, it does when lots of people are watching and you're mid-song and you got to go, keep up.
You got a lot going on.
So goes a long way.
Yeah.
Hey, and by the way, anyone here who's got questions for Phil, he's pretty knowledgeable on this stuff, especially on the tech. So any questions whatsoever, just go ahead, type them in the chat, and we'll get to you. There's about I think like a 40-second delay. I promise we'll answer your questions here. What else we got? Here on the side, there's two dip switches over here, one on the right and one on the left. I can see this is pre and post. What's on and off? What's turning off?
That's just to disconnect power from the lithium battery, when it's off. I mean, for example, you might have your bass plugged in, as that feeds a signal,
Right.
So, to save battery, you can turn it off,
Oh, so if
it's got
if the power's plugged in, the lithium-ion battery can still be on.
See that's it's on. You can see that light there.
Right. Yeah. Does mine do that? Yeah, look at that. Look, the pedal's not plugged in. There's no power cables. And look, that light on the right is turning on and off. Okay, so it came pre-charged. I don't even have. Maybe I'm not even going to plug it into power. No, just go off on battery.
You don't need to. Yeah.
All right. Okay, this is already going to be different than any of these I've ever done before. Okay. So yeah, when you're plugging this in line with a power cable, you want this switch to be on the off position, so you're not draining your battery.
Yeah,
without taking advantage of it.
Because you can't replace I guess you can if you open it up and service it. You put a replacement lithium battery in it. But generally speaking, if you've got like a pedal with a 9-volt in, you can just swap it out. With this, you don't have that luxury.
Right.
But the good thing is that battery is going to last hundreds and hundreds of charges. So it's going to save you. If you're a battery user, you're going to save a lot of money with that.
I see it more as like either a when you're on tour, you're playing in a lot of different stages, and you do the same exact thing you did last night. You plug it in, and bzzz, like maybe there's a power issue. So like I could see going to the battery just to like, did it go away? Okay, we're gonna play on battery tonight, or fly dates and just one less thing to bring, a power conditioner or something like that.
That's why I hate active basses. I always leave them plugged in overnight, and I go the next day, and they're like sound like a fuzz box.
Yeah.
Because I'm an old school. I'm not old school. I'm old. I'm an old bass player.
Hey, old school's good too, man. We'll take them both.
I grew up on precision basses and jazz basses. It didn't have any electronics, and they were simpler.
That's still the way I play. That's still the way I prefer it.
I still like that. And if you ask me what I like on the bass, I think it's just the two controls on the precision. It's just simple.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking music. I'm not thinking technical when I'm playing. My brain switches off from that. I used to run a PA company. I made the biggest mistake once of using my PA company for my own band, and I couldn't function doing either. I couldn't think of playing bass, and I couldn't think of getting the sound right.
Yeah, right. No, yeah, seriously,
I'm
with you.
At a time,
Yeah. JC Denton, hey, good to see you, man, says no more government subsidies. Did I read that right? For active basses. Sure, I'm for it. You got my vote. If that means whatever it means. Okay, and then ground lift and XLR out in a through output.
Yeah.
Pretty. Everything aside from the charging and the piezo. So you've added 3 things to like what most DI boxes would have is the wireless, not wireless, but power cable-less performance, the piezo switch, and then being able to turn that battery on and off.
Yeah. I mean, recently I've been getting into pedals because I really wasn't a pedal guy. I'm a bass player and I like pure tone. But I've been following a lot of, because I've been asked, can you design some pedals? I said, yeah, I guess, so.
Someone's got to do it.
I've been collecting. I've probably got like about, 200 pedals right now, in my collection. And
wait, 200 pedals that you use, or like you're studying them, trying to see?
And
gotcha.
Looking, it's a kind of work, And,
okay, I have a question for you then. Do you have, because someone's going to ask this, do you have a favorite one? A lot of people ask, like, hey, what are your favorite top 3 pedals or basses? What's yours?
Well, actually,
Mr. I have 200 of them.
When I run a pedal through like an octavider or a distortion, it's not me, it's not my sound, so I really am not comfortable saying like whether it's good or not, I look at other things, like I bought a pedal the other day. I thought, well, I'll try it, and then I couldn't find a power supply to plug it in. I went, damn, running about looking for a power. One thing I did do is I put like a 9-volt battery with a little plug on the end. I just leave it around. I can just plug it into any pedal that I need.
Nice.
Yeah, should do it with a lithium. But there is a cable you can get for, the phone charge, like the phone battery banks you can get. It converts 9 volts to the 5-volt out of the battery, and you can get them on Amazon. So you can use like a battery bank for your phone to power your pedals at 9-volt.
Oh wait, say that again. That sounds like the coolest hack cable. I've never heard of.
Yeah, it's like it's got like a USB one end, and it's got a 9-volt.
I'm on Amazon right now. What would I search for?
Oh God, let me see. I bought one on Amazon the other day just for the hell of it.
Give me a couple of keywords here. I'm gonna drop it in the chat so you guys can see what I'm talking about.
Try USB to 9-volt. See if that works on Amazon.
USB to 9-volt. I'm seeing cables.
Adapter. Cable. Yeah, it's a cable. It's a cable. One's USB plug, like you plug.
Are these like $7 or $8?
Yeah, something like that. So you can have like a battery bank charging your pedals if you have a problem.
I'm going to throw something about. It's going to cover you up for a second, but is this what we're looking for? USB 9-volt to 5, 12-step up.
Yeah, it's 5-volt out from the battery bank, and then it converts it to 9-volt, and you can find the right one. So you got the positive on the sleeve and the negative on the pin.
I see what you mean. Right.
You got to make sure it's the right polarity, because all pedals are that way.
That does make a difference. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. So life hack, everybody. Go get one of those because you never know when you're going to need it on the gig. Oh, okay. No, I was going to ask if there's a way to like daisy chain off of this and power other pedals. That's not a thing?
Yeah, the problem would be that the battery would run down pretty quick because some pedals are more current hungry than others, you know. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Is there mine's on. It's draining battery right now.
Yeah.
Turn it off. Is there? Let's go over the knobs up here. I mean, like I said, it's pretty straightforward. We got a 5-band EQ, low bass, high bass, which I love the way you guys say that. Mids, and then low treble, high treble, and then level and gain. So, do you want to talk about these at all? For anyone who hasn't seen my other video,
in the center there's a little LED between the level and gain above.
It says clip.
Clip light. Yeah. So you can adjust the level of your bass, so you can just get that to clip and then edge it back a bit.
And that's. Sorry, correct me if I'm wrong. That's more of an attenuator. That's not like.
Yeah, it's to match because I've measured a lot. I made a device to measure pickup output, and there's a lot of variation in pickups. For example, this device I made, and I put a certain voltage on a field coil, and lay it across the pickup. And for example, a jazz bass was about 147 millivolt. And the P bass was about 290 millivolts. So that's quite a big difference, like a 6 dB gain in voltage. You know? So, and then, you know, it depends on how you play. I mean, you know, I've seen some guys who couldn't hit the string harder with a sledgehammer. They're so heavy on the bass, you know. But and then people are like Bob Babbitt was a very gentle player. He played very softly.
Yes.
You know, and
did you ever? So, I'm curious. Did you ever meet Bob Babbitt?
Yeah, not only that, I had lessons off him. I was very honored to have him around my house, and I had like about 10 lessons.
Anyone who doesn't know who Bob Babbitt is, he and James Jamerson were the Motown bass players. Jamerson first, and then Babbitt was, you know, when they couldn't get Jamerson, that's when they hired a second guy. And I met him somewhere at Victor Boutin's birthday party, I think.
Well, Bob used to live in Nashville.
Yes, I met him in Nashville.
I'm very good friends still with his wife Anne, you know, and I was instrumental in helping her sell Bob's collection of basses. And his famous bass, the P bass that was used on all the Motown, you know, that one movie Standing in the Shadows of Motown. Yeah. That bass actually I think is now owned by Phil Collins.
Really? So, oh wow.
But I think that was the last artist that Bob had played for before he got brain cancer and passed away.
Yeah, we lost Bob, I think 5 or 6 years ago, if I remember.
Yeah, I cried my eyes out for about a week after that because I mean, he was like my big brother. You know, he was the most humblest, nicest person you could ever meet, and he would talk to anybody like they were a VIP. He was just a wonderful, not only an amazing musician, but he was just a wonderful human being.
Yeah. I could tell that. Yeah, I had maybe a 5 or 6 minute conversation with him. And I could tell the same exact thing.
Big guy with a big heart.
Yeah. Great man. Sorry. So let's get back to this. Sorry. Yeah. If you notice, that's how this show goes. I'm going to constantly derail, and then we're going to try to come back to some sort of focus. So let me just confirm this with you. When it comes to the level knob, this is not like driving this harder gives you more tone or it hits the preamp harder. Well, it's the same sound, just louder or quieter?
The circuitry inside this is op amps, you know, and op amps have a characteristic of when they overloaded, they'll just clip and square wave the signal. You know, maybe you like that, but you know, it's not designed as a distortion pedal, you know.
Right.
We're looking at different types of like JFET and MOSFET distortion, you know, because they characterize the overload very differently, you know, with the amplification curve of each device. So, you know, some are hard clipping, some are harder clipping, and some are very soft clipping, you know. So that's a different thing altogether. But you know, this is really just to get the maximum signal to noise ratio. Particularly if you're recording, you don't want any noise on your recording, you know.
Right.
So you can match this to match your bass, and then the gain is to match it to the output of what it's going into, you know, your amplifier.
Say that again. Yeah, I was just about to say, the level.
For example, like, you know, like here, you know, you want to drive your amp a little harder or something, you know, you just increase the level here.
Is the gain knob here on the right, is that going out the XLR, or is that just the level knob?
Oh, it's going out the XLR, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So which of those do you set first then, gain or level?
I would set the level, just hit the bass as hard as you can, how you'll be playing. And when you see the clip light come on, just back it off a little bit, and then you'll be fine.
Gotcha.
And then you turn this up to match your settings of your amplifier and what you're looking for.
And as you adjust the level, do you hear a difference? Is it getting louder and quieter?
Yeah, it'll get louder. Yeah,
Gotcha.
You turn that level up, you get louder and louder, until the point where you maybe are overdriving your amp.
Well, I'm talking about the one on the left, the level knob, not the gain knob.
Oh yeah, you hear that too.
You hear them both. Okay.
Yeah, and you'll hear if you start overdriving it, you'll hear that as well.
Sure.
In fact, the LED light comes on like a few dB before it's actually clipping. Just to show you, like, warn you that it's gonna clip soon.
Ah, that's good to know. Okay. Yeah. And then 5-band EQ. What are the 5 bands?
Well, basically you split it up into, you got 10 octaves of audio you hear, and I chose particular frequencies and the Q of each one so that they would be complementary to each other. So for example, if you wanted to boost the low bass, which is like between like 30 and like 60 hertz.
I remember really liking that one on the bass amp that you guys sent over.
Yeah, that gives you like some real warmth, and like
just
like reggae bass.
Yeah.
Turn that up all to maximum, bass maximum.
Of course.
And then so this kind of covers, if you looked at the notes, the fundamental notes of your bass, this kind of covers your
B, C,
your
D
E,
on a 5-string,
and your D, maybe A string here. So. And then this would be like your D and G string up to 12th fret or something. And
gotcha.
These are your harmonics. These are like your overtones. This will give you, like, if you like a lot of slap, you might bring that all the way up here. And then
I also remember that. Yeah, if I was like, if I'm doing any slap and do that high treble knob, it doesn't get painfully hissy or bitey, if that makes any sense.
I mean, depending on the bass, you might want like a Jacko mid-range. You might want to boost a little bit of the mid up here if you get that barking, bridge pickup on a jazz or something. But every bass is different. What I've learned about basses, and having nearly 80 basses right now myself.
Wait, how many? 80?
80, yeah.
I thought I had too many. I got like 14 in here.
I don't know. I just worry about when I die, what my wife's going to do. She's going to be in hell, But I guess somebody will be knocking on her door, for a bargain.
Yeah, look at it taken care of, I'm sure.
Yeah. So what I've learned is that certain basses, you can put a set of strings on one bass, and they sound totally different on another bass, and it's to do with all the factors, not just the pickup, but the wood, how the body resonates, everything, So, with a solid body bass, even the resonance of the wood in the body makes a huge difference, as you know. So it's very hard to kind of say. That's what I can't stand when I see a manual on an amp and it says, you want the Beatles sound, you have it like this. You want, a funk sound, you do this.
Yeah.
It's like total utter bullshit, because every bass is different and every player is different, and so on. Every speaker is different. So how can you possibly have a recipe for a funk sound, like Louis Johnson or something,
What I tell people is, like, when it comes to EQing, because if you're an engineer, it all makes sense. If you're a musician, not saying engineers aren't musicians, but if you only play and you don't know anything about hertz and all these things we're talking about, that's what they're asking. Like, just give me the shortcut, and it doesn't exist. But you can use some very basic, like I'll say, if you want more, you're gonna find that around 30 or 50. If you want, if you want more finger strike, like that Jocko, or even just the sound of the flesh or the pick attacking the string, you'll find that between 900 and 1.2. Like, those are ballparks. Go searching for it. It won't be the same for every person, every bass, every set of hands, every guitar pick, but you'll find it in that ballpark. So you don't have to know exactly everything about engineering to get those sounds, but a little bit goes a long way, for sure.
Well, I think what's important is to have a set of ears and know what sounds good to you. You probably don't know, but I'm a speaker designer in the field of studio monitor and high-end audio, where we have a lot of extensive measurements on speakers, for frequency response, distortion, directivity, and so on. But at the end of the day, when I sign off on something, it's how I like the sound of it.
Yeah.
do I like it how it sounds? That's far more important than having it like a flat frequency response and things. That gives you just one dimension, and there's multiple dimensions
Of
of
course.
sound.
Yeah.
So you can never really say, like this is perfect for one. Like I said on here, the EQ, every bass you pick up will require a different EQ.
Right.
Even every room will change the sound of your bass, because some rooms you will magnify certain fundamentals and take away from others, and also the same with the mids and the highs. If you've got like a room where it's very dead, there's a lot of carpeting and soft material, it's going to absorb all those high frequencies, and you have to give a bit more of a cut in the, get the bass to cut by boosting the highs.
Yeah, that's something I always say. I use pedals or onboard preamps to get the tone. The amplifier I always use to set the room. So if there's you can just do this. You can if you have a sweepable mid on your bass amp, what you do is you just play a chromatic scale, and one of those notes
will
one of them's going to be like, I barely touched it, and it's the loudest one. Okay, so find that one on the mid.
There's a reason for that,
Yeah. Right. Room modes. Yeah.
Room modes, exactly.
Probably something that's a whole topic, a whole video. There's books on it.
Exactly. Yeah.
But as bass players, we're the ones who are making that worse for the most part. Us and the drummers kick drum. So a little bit of knowledge. In fact, I'll type it in the chat here. Room modes. If you guys want to check that out, just a couple of Google searches will point you in the right direction on that. Phil, is there anything else you want to say about this before I dive into it and start playing with it?
Oh, just buy it.
yeah, do that too. And by the way, E.T., hi from Australia. Glad you're here. Keep going, Phil. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of EQ pedals on the market, but this EQ has come from like 20 years of knowledge of bass amplification, and we've just applied what we think is a simplest number of bands you can have on an EQ to get like the most flexible a tone, and we put it in a pedal. That's it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome, man. Then here's what we'll do. From this point, go ahead and just mute yourself. The same exact audio that's going to the live stream is also going to you over Zoom right now. So at any point, if you want to jump back in, I'm going to jump over to this screen and these ones when I start playing the bass. So unfortunately, we won't be seeing you until you pipe up. The audio's still going through, so I'll hear you if you start talking, and I'll come back over here, and you can butt in and say anything you want. If I'm saying wrong things or you just want to point something out, we're happy to have you here. And also, sorry, before we do that, chat, if any of you guys have any questions for Phil at any time, you can just go ahead, type it in, and I can come back to this screen, and we'll call him up. We'll bring him in here. Let's just check a couple of these questions really quick before we move on. E.T. says, getting good tones on my D and G is drama. Okay, Phil, is there anything we can do to help out E.T.? He says on his D and his G strings, it's hard to get good tones. You have any advice for him?
Yeah, I mean, I would say, well, when you talk about good tone, is it like the amp combination you've got, what bass have you got, the pickup configuration, the strings? There's a lot of variance there. So I think the thing to do would be to go through each one to see where it lies. I mean, for example, I guess the most direct way would be to use like something like our HA1, HA2 headphone amp, plug the bass into that and hear it on a pair of, studio quality headphones, so you can hear exactly how your bass is sounding without any interaction
the
of your
room
amp
interfering.
Yeah. And then, if well, my bass is kind of messed up,
Start
and
there.
it's problem with the bass itself. Could be, combination of pickup and the strings, could be the adjustment of the pickups,
string height, pickup height. Yeah.
String, the closer you bring a pickup to the string, the more it's going to pick up the fundamental, but it could overload as well. It could overload your amp, and compress a little bit. So, pickup height and adjustment could be one thing. String gauge, if you have different gauges of string, then there's a different amount of iron in each string, and consequently, the more iron you have in a string, the more it disturbs the magnetic field. So, look at your string gauges as well. Maybe you need a different kind of custom string gauge for that to punch through more. You know,
For
that'd be
those two
another
strings,
thing.
yeah.
And then also, the speaker cabinet, what you're using, the amp, the position of the cabinet in the room. One example would be that if you have your amp away from the wall, and all bass cabinets irradiate omnidirectionally on low frequency because the wave is gigantic compared to the size of the cabinet.
Omnidirectional, meaning you can't really tell where it's coming from.
Well, like if this was let's say that's the top of your speaker there, and the sound's coming this way, then the mids and highs will beam like a car headlamp. But the low frequencies are going to come from the back as well. And what will happen is that sound will come from the back of the cabinet, hit the back wall, and come back either in phase or out of phase or somewhere between the two of the sound coming off your cabinet. That's where you get some notes jumping out very loud and some very quiet because
ends up getting canceled
of
out.
The interaction of the room and the cabinet. Yeah.
So ET, I hope that helps. And okay, so so let's just do this. Guys, give me a second to plug this thing in. We'll just tweak some knobs and see what it sounds like, and then I'm going to play some music. I've got 6 different songs that I've picked out from my backing track arsenal. Rock, metal, blues, country. I mean, like anything. We're going to put it through its paces, try it in a lot of different contexts, and see what we can do with it.
One thing I can say is this: don't ever listen to bass on your cell phone. You know, have a decent set of phones or speakers, because bass really sounds terrible on the speaker of a cell phone.
You know what? Check this out. For years, I was collecting outboard equipment, and I've spent. Back up a second. When people ask me gear questions, my answers are always disappointing. And here's the reason why. Because I spent so much money. I had 1176s and Neve 1073s and all this shit, and I would spend hours crafting the perfect bass tone. And that's what I would record. And then I remember, just on a whim, I took my cell phone, I leaned it up next to the amp, and I just started playing, and I threw it up on Instagram. And thousands of people weren't saying, "That's awesome playing, how'd you do that?" or whatever. They were just like, "Dude, that tone is so good. What distortion pedal are you using?" It's the fucking cell phone. It's going because it's right next to the speaker. I'm done chasing tone, man.
Well, the frequency response of a cell phone is like where the harmonics of a bass amp, but it's absolutely no fundamental.
Right.
It's a blend of the fundamental and the harmonics that makes your bass sound so good.
Yeah.
So, and then, it's far from high fidelity. So,
right. So basically, as we're doing these playing examples, go ahead and throw on some real headphones or just any set of speakers. Otherwise, you're not going to notice the things that we're going to point out as we explore here. So awesome, Phil. Thanks for being here, guys. Phil is still going to be around, and he's going to jump in anytime. And if you have questions for him, we're watching the chat, so he's not going anywhere. But Phil, go ahead, mute yourself. And we'll come back to you in 20 minutes or something like that, maybe. Awesome. Okay, cool. Hey, Hondo, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you, man. Hope all is well. E.T., you're welcome for that advice. I'm glad. Hope you got something out of it. David says, Peter, I've been using the bass buddy on my pedal board for fly dates. That was a previous comment. Gotcha. And Peter just turned on my Apollo Twin. Nice. Okay, yeah. Let's plug this bad boy in. I guess the first thing I got to do is... Sorry, guys. Normally, like I said, I'm streaming on Twitch. And so I've got my whole setup for my Twitch show. Coming over here to YouTube, I had to move some cameras around and whatnot. So I apologize. This is the best view I can give you of the pedal. I know it's not blowing up or big or anything, but we got to work with what we got here. So bass is plugged in. Output, I'm going to send to my tuner because I don't see a tuner out. No tuner out. So tuner's got to go there. And hold on. Bass cable. Got one of these guys. Let's go into here. Blah, da, 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 da. And you know what? I'm going to try this. I'm going to try this without plugging in the power. Let's give it a shot. Let's use it. I keep saying wireless. It's not wireless because obviously there's still wires connected. But let's give it a try. So I'm going to turn the on switch on. And yeah, it's going green, it's going red. Mute's working. Okay, cool. All right, chat. Sorry, I need your help, chat. Please tell me which bass I should use. What do you want to hear this on? Do you want to hear this on a precision bass? Do you want to hear it on a jazz bass? Do you want to hear it on an active 5-string bass? Do you want to hear it on a Stingray? This is the audience participation point. Again, there's about 40 seconds of delay, so I'm going to keep talking to keep the ball rolling. But please, chat, start typing away. Let me know. What do you want me to start with? If you don't suggest anything, I'm going to grab whatever I want. And that's okay, too. But tell me right now, everyone type away. P-bass, J-bass, Stingray, 5-string, flat wound strings. I don't care. Just start writing things, and that's what I'm going to go grab. We got 1 vote for a P-bass, 1 vote for a jazz, 2 P-basses. Hey, yo, I'm sorry I can't pronounce your name. It has characters that I don't even recognize, but thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Thanks so much. And all of you, thanks so much for being here, man. I'm having a blast. Phil's an awesome guy. I had him on the podcast sometime last year, maybe 4 or 5 months ago. Yeah, love this guy, and I love all the equipment that he's making, so we're excited to be doing this. You know what? We're getting more votes for the precision, and I think that's a good place to start. We should start with like the first bass, and then we'll go through all the different deviations. I like where you guys' heads at. That's excellent. Richard says, if you have a Turner Renaissance, I don't even know what that is. Sorry. Okay, guys, give me 1 second to let me see. Hold on. Where's the? No, it's not any of those. Okay, P-bass. Hold on. This is fun. Let's let me make sure that this is totally flat. So these all have a center detent. That is the first thing. God, I keep hitting the wrong button. I'm sorry, guys. That is the first thing I really appreciate, is the fact that this has center detent. I'm not a fan. I know Stingray does this on purpose, but I'm not a fan of like knobs that don't have a 0, a starting point. You know, when it's like, oh, you can make the tone whatever you want. I want to know, where's the starting line? Where's flat? Where's 0? So we got everything at center detent. I'm going to turn off the background music. That's my brother and I, by the way. All the music you've been hearing. There's a funny story that goes along with this song, but my brother and I did an acoustic recording of Dragon Force, because why not? Okay, all right. We're getting there. One thing I just noticed, I was looking at my tuner. You can't see it, it's over here. But I was playing the bass and no signal was going through. I unmuted it, and then the tuner's getting signal, obviously because of this output. So the all that just to say, the mute switch disengages the XLR signal and the 1/4-inch output. Just so you know. Let's come back over here and 1 second to make sure on this end of things that my... Okay, all right, preamp level is down. So let's see what happens. I'm just going to start tweaking here. I'm just going to play 1 note. Oh, am I on the right setting? Yes, I'm on the magnetic setting. Okay, good. Just making sure. All right, so this bass is not causing any kind of clipping at all. I know it's quiet at the moment. We're going to mess with it in just a second, but I wanted to make sure. Now what I have to do is I come over here and I have to gain it up on the preamp on my computer to get an accessible signal. And I just wanted to see really quickly when the preamp was off on the audio interface, the recording equipment. I wanted to see how loud it was when this thing is all the way up. And as you can see, or maybe you can't see, but I'm yanking on those strings and they're not clipping at all. So we're good. Let me let's get also, by the way, none of these compressors are on. I know they're still on there, but trust me, they're not doing anything. So I'm just going to gain this up just to an acceptable volume. Funny thing, when I play a P bass, normally when I play bass, my basses sit right here. But every time I play a P bass, it's about 2 or 3 inches lower. I don't know why. This is just a thing I do. I just feel better playing a P bass a little bit lower. So anytime I start playing with it, I'm always like, oh, why does this feel weird? Ah, right, P bass. Rick Turner, I don't know what that means. Oh, the Turner Renaissance, gotcha. And Hondo, you agree with me? Yeah, that center detent, man, it's important. It's important. God, this song is still on. I've got this playlist on an infinite loop. I always forget that song's like 9 minutes long. Okay, you guys can hear the bass okay. I think that's a decent starting point. And we can course correct later on if we need to. All right, I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to explore each of these knobs individually and see what they do. Trying to see which ones. Or maybe I should go with the mid knob first. Why am I... Do I have something off? I'm not hearing a difference. Oh, okay. All right. Know what you're doing first. Okay, so it's set for, as you can see right here, the post knob is off. So now my EQ moves should be going to tape. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, okay. Sorry, that was my bad. So I'm going to go back to flat, center to 10. Okay, so the low bass, I'll just do this. I'm going to just play a couple of them. This is a good idea. You guys are going to get bored of hearing this bass line. But when you're trying out new gear, this is what I recommend. Play the same thing over and over and over again. Okay? Because if you change your bass line and then you start tweaking knobs and then you play something different, you don't have anything to compare to. All right? So play the same licks, play the same groove, whatever the thing is, commit to it, and keep playing it over and over. That way, when you adjust things on the pedal, you'll actually notice them. So... yeah, that's the line we're going to be going with. All right, I'm going to give me just a little bit more gain. Everything's still flat. This is the P bass, totally flat. Tone knob is all the way up. I'm playing wrong things. Let's boost this low bass knob. And it's doing exactly what I want it to do. It's adding This is also my first time playing bass today. Hang with me, y'all. So, yeah, this right here is and if I turn it all the way down, that's actually a pretty cool sound. It sounds almost like, I mean, I wouldn't be that drastic with it, but when you're playing older music, if you're trying to go for that old school sound, like Motown, things that came out of the 60s and the 70s, be careful. They didn't have a lot of yet. Their speakers couldn't replicate those sounds, or just at least not loud. So yeah, low bass is adding those frequencies. The high bass, sorry if I'm blowing out your speakers, guys. I'm trying my best here. I'm gonna try that again. All right. This is more of a, I'm hearing it as a throaty sound, at least on this bass. That's what I'm getting. Listen to that P bass on flat settings. Yep, that's where we started. This right here is totally flat. Let's add up that, yeah, this is the high bass right here. You know what? Let me say this also. Whatever that is doing, I don't know where it is. Maybe it's around the 300 range. But if you're doing streaming stuff today, not today, but like nowadays, if you're doing streaming, if you're doing like Instagram videos and stuff, this right here, this is the knob you want. This one, like Phil and I were just talking about, the low frequencies, those aren't getting picked up by your cell phone. So if you want your bass to pop in a mix coming from somebody's phone, which is where they're probably watching your live stream from, this right here, this knob, this high bass, I'm gonna flatten it out. I'm gonna bring it back up. It's not in the frequency range of the kick drum, so you don't gotta worry about walking over that. So I'm just saying, if you want your stuff to pop, you're doing an Instagram video or something like that, TikTok, whatever the hell you're doing, this knob right here is going to do it. Probably the mid-range is going to give us that burpy sound. I keep forgetting to go back to this. How many dB of boost and cut is it doing? I really don't know. Phil, if you're still listening and you want to just pop in with any of those quick answers, go for it at any time. But we'll come back to you in just a minute. Let me scoop this out and see what that does. Okay, this right here is a sound that I love. I always want to cut out those mids, that 400, 500. I'm not sure what the frequencies are. Dang it, wrong one again. This is what I want. Go back and bring those mids in a little bit. Yeah, so probably if I was on my bridge pickup, that's going to give it that nasally, jocko-y sound. Hey, Mark. Mark, how you doing, man? It's good to have you here. I've never tried a preamp before my bass. I don't think you can put a preamp before your bass. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. We'll see. Back over here. So mid-range, yep, that's doing what I expected to do. These two I'm always curious about because, again, which bands they are, I'm not sure. They're both labeled as treble. Here's the thing. With a 5-band EQ, usually it's low, low mid, mid, high mid, and treble. Phil Jones likes to label them low bass, high bass. So these are both still in the bass frequency. So it's kind of like a 3-band EQ with more options in the low and in the top end. So I'm interested to see what the high treble is going to sound like. And we're going to totally leave it flattened out. Actually, sorry, that's not flat. Let's pull it all the way down and see what that does. To my ears, that sounds like I took the tone knob on my bass and rolled it down 40, 50%. That's what I'm getting. So not like the crispy top end of like an active bass with like a Warwick with the treble cranked and all the clink. I'm just hearing that as kind of like a tone knob. Here it is flat. And then here it is boosted. And then here it is cut. You know, I just realized I should do this with my microphone off because even with this pedal muted, you're still hearing some of the top end from my fingers. So I'm going to do that one more time. I'm just going to play that line, adjust those knobs, but I'm going to turn my microphone off so that you don't hear me. Sorry, I'm hitting wrong buttons. I've got so many buttons to hit. It's not even funny. I keep screwing shit up. Now, let me say this. I like the fact... Oh, and by the way, sorry, E.T., I didn't see you. Got to go. Take care. This will be available on replay as soon as we're done here. So you can watch the rest of it later. Barry, you meant before your amp. We can talk about that in a second. Let me get through just exploring the sounds, you know, that each knob does, and then we'll whatchamacallit. I can tell you about how to use a preamp with an amp that also has an EQ. Why do you need 2 EQs? I'll tell you. Johnny Tsunami, I like your name, by the way, says that's a lot better. Excellent. I was like, it does nothing before you muted the mic. Yeah. Yeah, I know. That's it's the nature of the beast. Like I said, most of what I do on these live streams is actually more performative. I do a Twitch channel, so very rarely am I doing these deep dives into a piece of gear. Not very often. So hang with me. Bear with me, folks. We're getting there. What I was going to say is I like the fact that boosting this doesn't boost the top end really. Meaning like, okay, hold on. Listen quickly, okay? I'm going to turn right now. It's all the way up, this low treble, and now I'm going to dial it to center. You don't really... I mean, it's a little more hissy, but just barely. So the fact that, like, if you're like me, I like a dark tone, but I don't want it to have, like, I don't want any of that hiss, any of the, like, a lot of the slappers and the gospel chops guys. That's not the sound I'm going for. And I bet if I hit this knob, yeah, there it is. But even then, listen to that. That's not a lot of hiss. Phil was saying that improved the noise floor and got it quieter. The treble is blasted as far as it can go. I'm gonna turn off my mic again. Oh. Yeah, that's really, really cool. I mean, it's not killing you with top end. And the fact that like I can set the this one here, the high treble for something that's got more of a, like to still be able to hear the fret slides, but not overbearing, not sharp, and not like painful top end. That's what I remember about the amplifier version of this. Recently, okay, I want to make sure I still had a mute switch over here. Sometime last year, we had the amplifier version of this, not the pedal, but like I think it's called the BP-800. And I was like, yo, the top end on this thing is killer. Because it's not hissy, it's not sizzly, it's not sharp, but when I crank it all the way up, it's perfect. It's got just the amount, for someone who likes a dark tone, this has got the right top end. They totally nailed it here. Kirk says, would you stomp talking over Phil and cutting him off? I'll think about it. MTRL, nice. Peter says, excellent for upper harmonics to come out and reinforce the perceived low end. Devil horns, you're supposed to go like this. Too much metal for one hand. Yeah, I'm for it, man. The top end on this thing is absolutely stellar. So let's go ahead and let's play some songs. Let me think. I've got a list of tunes here that I kind of picked up this morning. What would be a good P-bass song? Oh, I know exactly which one. All right, guys, give me one moment here. Where is it? Where is it? Backing. Where are they? So I've got this folder on my hard drive that's got, oh, it's this one, gear demos. Backing tracks. So normally when I do a recording session these days, I ask the artist like, hey, give me a version of it without bass so I can work with it and do something later. So we're gonna work with this song. This one's kind of bluesy. It's called "To Love a Man" by a friend of mine, Kellyanne Keough. Let's just listen for a second. All right, so that's the vibe of the song. The band kicks in a little bit later. So let's dial in a tone here. I want that but more so I want the low or the high bass. More of a honky sound, not like gospel low end, but you know, enough low end. I'm gonna cut out some of the mids to make it more what's the word? More scooped out and controlled. Let's leave the top end. If anything, I'm going to dip it a little bit, and I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to pull down the high treble, but I'm going to pull up the low treble. I'm going to turn off my microphone again. Check this out. Now, what I was doing there is I was trying to find a medium to where like I could get that tone knob vibe where I don't have to get the dark muted sound. So it's bright, but not hissy. And so that was really cool. I dialed in the amount of top end that I wanted, and then I pulled back some of the sizzle, and I think it's perfect now. Might just add a little bit more of the low bass. Yeah, I'm digging it. I'm going to gain up the bass a little bit more. And by the way, we're not hitting any compressors, nothing else. As you can see here, there's nothing in the chain. This compressor's off, this compressor's off, the Neve is off. So I'm just going to give you clean. Yep. And I'm not gonna bang on the strings and get too loud. So yeah, we'll call this our blues sound. This song's got a big intro, so I'm gonna scoot forward about a minute. That's where we want to be. And kiss him. And guys, let me know if you need me to change the track volume, the bass volume. I'll keep an eye on the chat right now. So you guys let me know. Sorry, that was me buzzing. Let me know if the mix is okay, and I'll adjust here on the fly. But let's do it. And kiss him, 'cause that's what it takes to love a man. He brings me roses just 'cause it's Tuesday. And then he goes and he works late on my birthday. But I know he means well, and that's what it takes to love a man. Sometimes you win. How's the mix, guys? Make it a little bit more me. That's what it takes to love a in bed every morning, a little too sweet, but you know I'm still his, and that's what it takes. That's what it takes to love a man. Oh, that's what it takes. That's what it takes to love a
This girl's got a set of pipes, bro. Holy shit.
Whatever. God, man, that girl, her name's Kellyanne Keough. She's currently, I was gonna say currently on tour with, no, she's not anymore. She was singing backup with the Jonas Brothers for the past couple of years, and also my friend Tom Crouch, she's playing guitars with them. Anyways, that was a record we cut, I think, in 2016, and then it got released like a year and a half ago. Like all things, you know, it takes forever to finish. Looks like everyone's digging it. And again, guys, I'm sorry. The chat's really small and hard to read. It's a YouTube thing. Twitch, if you want to do the live stream thing, Twitch is where you want to be. There's a link below you can click on. I do this 5 days a week on my Twitch channel. Sounds great. Thank you, David. Mix is very good. Excellent. Ready for mastering. Honestly, that's what I go for. When people ask, like, what kind of gear do you like or what are you looking for? The path of least resistance, always. Can I just plug it in and tweak a couple of things and get there? That's what I want. That's what I'm interested in. Johnny says the tone is fucking perfect. Okay. Hey, someone just followed. Okay, so if you hear those Dave Chappelle quotes and stuff jumping out, I have alerts on Twitch that I can't turn off, apparently. I thought I muted them. But thank you. Whoever just followed, thank you. I appreciate that. Another one. Hey, yo. Johnny, don't worry. This is a safe place. Free speech zone. Say what you want. I don't give a shit. What else we got? Okay, you know what? We did the P bass. Let's go with a different song. So I'm gonna take that one off the list. For blues, that classic iconic P bass recording looks like what I ended up doing is I cranked the low bass all the way up to get all the high bass. That was about, I don't know, 2 or 3 o'clock. I scooped out the mids to maybe 9 o'clock. I boosted up the treble to maybe 2 o'clock, and the high treble, that's my favorite part. Is like I said, like a tone knob, but without the hiss and the sizzle. That's pretty cool. I like it. All right, let me turn this bass off. Let's grab a different one. Oh, how about flat wound strings? If we stay in this vein of like old school soul, I've got one more song from that same record I can play, and we can jump over to a P bass with flats and see what we can do with that. Actually, I'm not even gonna ask you. I'm just gonna do it. This is my show. It's my show. I'll do what I want. Sorry, I had to get aggro there for a second. Old boy, how are you doing? Johnny Tsunami, David, and Mark, and Bohab James. Man, this is my favorite part about live streaming and talking with people is the reading y'all's names. You guys have the best names. Now, let me say this also: the level and the gain are all the way up. That bass was passive, this bass is passive. I mostly play passive instruments. And if you want to look over here, this is how much gain I'm adding, about 25 dB. I'll turn this down. So, I mean, we've got plenty of headroom. I'm hitting around -9, -6 with my peaks, and that'll give me some room with the EQ. So let's come back over here. We got a P bass with flat wound strings. I call this my Jamerson bass for obvious reasons. It's kind of looks like his. I hate these. I hate this pickup plate because this is where my hand goes, and I can't play. So I've got to adjust my technique to be on one side or the other. But I want a Jamerson bass that's set up and to look like his, and I only play it when I do old school songs. So take that. Chat, let me get at your questions. Johnny says, I need to get some flats. Do you think flats would sound good on a grabber? No, I don't think so. Just because what I use the grabber for is like drop C, heavy stuff that still needs mid-range. The thing about the grabber, I would plug it in, but it's broken. It only works like 20% of the time. So half of it, if I plug it in, I'm like, let's see what it does. You're gonna mostly hear that. That's why I have a soldering iron here. We'll fix it one of these days. Shit, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I don't think the grabber is the way to go because the grabber is solid maple. It is the honkiest mid-rangey bass I've ever heard in my life. Maple body, maple neck, maple finger, maple, all of it. So it's just very upper mid, almost bright mid-range, and I don't know if that makes any sense to you. So flat wound's kind of like the opposite of that. You don't want a bright, you kind of want a sludgier sound. But maybe, I don't know, maybe it would be cool to contrast. That's the thing like we'll do in the studio. We'll pair ribbon mics, which are really warm and natural sounding, with a really bright preamp. Rather than mixing warm and dull with warm and dull, you'll get a really warm and dull sound. But if you kind of cross-pollinate and do the opposites, I don't know, it sounds a little bit different sometimes. Okay, let's come back over here. I'm going to, for this song, hold on, I'll let you guys listen to it really quick. This is the same gal. Her name is Kellyanne Keough. I love this girl. I love her voice. I love the songs that she writes. This one's called Memphis. You've probably heard it before here on my YouTube channel. So like very 1960s again. It makes me smile every time. So, yeah, let's see how. I'll probably do something very similar and go for more of the high bass sound. Yeah, a little bit of that, a little bit of the I'm going to boost these mids a little bit and see what that does. What happens if I cut them? That's doing the opposite. Nope. So we'll boost those a little bit. We'll cut all of the high-end treble down. And by the way, this bass is same thing. 100% on the volume and on the... shit, wrong thing again. Gosh, I'm hitting wrong buttons. This is what I want. So turning down the that hiss. Let's boost up the top-end treble a little bit. I'm going to turn off my mic. I'll say this, my only gripe so far is that the low bass knob, I almost want it 100% on everything I've been doing. So that's not a criticism. Like, they probably could have done this. In my opinion, that could have been flat. So if that right there 100% was the starting point, then I could go more or less from there. But yeah, it's a compliment. I'm really liking the sound of that low bass knob. A little bit more. All right, let's play a song. Let me just make sure I'm not peeking on the meters. Yeah, a little bit. I'm going to pull it down slightly. Yeah. Oh, man. All right, chat, sorry. Before I get playing this song, let me check out what you're saying. Don Johnson, hi Don, nice to meet you, man, says, I have 2 Phil Jones amps, and all my speakers are PJB. I love them. They get the sound I was looking for. I like that too. Man, it's awesome. I've had a couple of their rigs here in the studio, and it's great. It's great shit. Stick with rounds and play it with some dirt anyways. Again, that's just my opinion. Nope, not, you know. I've been wrong before. Steve Harris uses flats. There you go. Yeah, you want a bright sound, you can totally get it. The only thing I'll say about the grabber, it's a way harder to play P bass. I think that's the best way I can explain it. So if a precision bass already is like, it feels a little baseball batty and stiff, like, well, the grabber is just going to be even worse. So keep that in mind. Jamie, you have to hear Blue D Tiger play bass? Sure. I mean, no, I haven't heard him, if that's what you're asking. I had no idea that's very surprising. I don't know. If there's no Turner Renaissance. How about any other bass with piezo's? Yeah, no, I don't have any piezo basses. I wish I did. Yeah, if I knew that it had the piezo switch on it, I would have tried to get one in here. But not this time. Okay. My water bottle's in the way. What an asshole. Get out of here. Okay, so this is the sound we're working with right now. Actually, everything is boosted to like 2 or 3 o'clock, except for that treble. That treble knob is kicked back. So let's do this thing. Your grabber demo video you made years ago inspired me to take the I don't think I did one. Bass Channel did. The Bass Channel. My friends Chris, who lives about 1.5 miles away from me now. Yeah, they did a video on my grabber. I don't think I did one. Maybe I did. Yeah, it's the loudest acoustic electric bass I've ever played. Like, it's not an acoustic instrument, but if you just don't plug it in and you start playing, it is so loud. Louder than any electric bass you've ever unplugged, if that makes sense. Okay, here we go. This one's called Memphis. Going for a bit more of an old school vibe. Let's see what happens. And same thing, please let me know if it's too loud or too quiet.
gonna give it a little bit more juice.
Then you got nothing to lose in Memphis. Poplar down to Beale Street, paved with soul. And if you don't mind the grind, you can call it home. Steel string set on fire.
I guess I should have tuned first.
Down and out, we're still singing high. Remember, take me back, take me back, take me back to Memphis. So take me back,
Does the mix still sound okay?
take me back to Memphis. Now you can set a free in the world, but you can't take the time Try to follow you southwest to the bay, but the ghost of Graceland still whispers my name. Mama told me follow your heart, 'cause there'll always be a part of you.
I'm gonna cut out some of those mids.
Take me back, take me back, take me back to Memphis. Take me back, take me back, take me back to Memphis. Now you can set a free in the world, but you can't take the delta out of Memphis. Times are hard, intentions run deep, and no one knows it better than the Bluff City streets. So let's stay together, since the good are ever in green. Take me back to Memphis. So take me back, take me back, take me back to
Yeah! God, I'm loving this. I'm loving this, dude. Yeah, so that, oh shit. It's starting to play back. I made a couple adjustments just to see what it did, but yeah, I really liked the mid-range all the way up. We cut it and we boosted a little bit more of the lows, so man, yeah, it's very, very flexible. And I'm also, here's another thing with a lot of EQ pedals and preamps and stuff, is like you'll make little tiny moves and you're like, I don't know if I notice a difference. This one is very obvious. As soon as I tweak something, I notice exactly what it is that I'm tweaking, and it gets better. All right, we did blues, we did some old school. Let me see, what else we got? Oh, mix is good, excellent. All right, cool. Metal. Let's do some metal. Why not? Why the hell not? I think I got a track in here. You preferred it with the mid scooped. You know what? Me too, but that's the bass tone I like. I'm a big fan of just the low end. Scoop out those mids. I don't do a lot of rock. And I know for rock music, that's kind of where, well, maybe not active rock, but at least for like classic rock and I don't know. I find they tend to favor more of the mid-range, the upper mids. I'm always cutting that shit out. Don't want that in my tone at all. I like a big, boomy, bassy sound. Okay, let's do some metal. This one's gonna be cool. All right, give me 1 second. Let's, we should do a 5-string. Okay, I'll switch over. I'll grab an active 5-string. Thank you, Veronica. I appreciate that. Okay, yeah, let's go. Oh, I know, just the one. Hold on. Wait for it. Okay, Ernie Ball was kind enough to send this over back in December. It is a bongo bass. I don't know much about it. I mean, I use it on Twitch every once in a while, but I don't play Ernie Ball instruments. Don't really know their sound too much, so I'm just gonna set everything flat on here, and let's see what we do. I've kind of, for this song, probably like a dingwall would be best. Yeah. Yeah, Veronica, you're right. Twitch is the place to be. Where's my sound? Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry, guys. That was my bad. Okay, this bass is active, so this is the first active bass we've had. So sorry, I'm just leveling all these ones out. I'm going to pull down the gain on here. So the gain is totally flat on my recording interface, and I'm just going to go like 12 o'clock with both of these, and let's see. Okay, so dude, the bass is flat. Okay, I'm not doing any boosting or anything on the bass itself. But even all the way up, man, this is a hot instrument. This bass normally peaks. Yeah. Okay, so this gain knob does nothing. Oh no, it does. Okay, we can leave it all the way up. Yeah, we're not clipping at all over on here, and on the software you can see we're watching this fader right here. Yeah, we got plenty of headroom, so I'm gonna give it just a little bit of juice. I'm gonna back it off. We probably don't even need anything because we're gonna do some EQ moves. Gotta go. Hey, that's all right, Richard. Thanks for this. Yeah, the replay will be available probably, let's see, what time is it? Jeez, I've been doing this an hour and a half already. Well, yeah, the replay will be done in probably about 20 minutes tops. So you can come out and come back and catch the rest of it. What else we sound? Those pickups sound great. Yeah, man, I'm not knocking the Music Man sound. I don't hate it. I just, I never use it. It's not in my bag of tricks. And I've been thinking about doing a video on the bongo because I've had one here. I've been playing it for about 3 months on my Twitch show. On Twitch, you get to tell me not only what bass to play, not only what song to play, but also what bass to play. So like every song is a different instrument and I don't get to choose, you guys choose. So I do have some experience with it. It's different than a Stingray. It feels more like a Warwick, if that makes any sense, just like a really stiff neck, maybe flat radius. No, it's not a flat radius, but it's close. So it sounds a bit like a Stingray, but it doesn't feel like one. For me, a Stingray still feels like a classic Fender instrument. The bongo does not. This one I have to adjust all of my playing to make it work. Okay, so let's come over here and let's dial in some tones. Sorry, I'm juggling 9 different things at once and hitting too many buttons. Okay, so it's metal. So my technique is going to be heavier on the attack to kind of, you know, that common dingwall modern metal sound that we all know. So I want to make sure I get a lot of that brightness in there. So let's see if I'm just going to jump to the high treble knob. I'm going to see if that does it. I'm going to pull it down. So, I mean, that's just the sizzle on top. But again, listen, it's all the way up. It's not hissing. There are some amps that if you go all the way on the treble, Kruger, they'll be hissing like crazy. Not this one. Not so with this guy. And not even with this one. Wow, okay, all right. So I'm gonna leave this one all the way up because this is not a dark glass unit, but I wanna have that vibe. What happens when I start messing with the low treble? And And keep in mind also the Stingray has its own top end sizzly sound that is bongo, not a Stingray. But the Music Man sound has that trebly bite already, and I'm not using it at all. I'm kind of getting there. I am hearing a little bit of distortion, but I'm not seeing the clip light, so it might be on my computer. Let's turn it off. Yeah, so the top end is definitely present. It's metal, so we need some of those sub-lows in there. Sorry, it's distorting. I'm gonna compensate. Maybe pulling the gain down. No, that's not helping. I'll do it here. It's overloading somewhere in the chain, but I don't know where. Or maybe it's my headphones, because I'm not seeing it in the meters. So yeah, that's probably it. It's probably my headphones rattling from all the sub. Are you guys hearing distortion? It very well could be the bass also. Like I said, it's not my instrument. But as you can see, these aren't clipping. And if I, yeah, see when I unplug it, the clip light definitely works. All right, so let's just do this. Scoop out all these mids. This is what I would do if I was recording on this kind of song. Get rid of that burpy bass. Crank the shit out of the low bass. You want a bongo? You know what? It definitely is a cool sound. Not for everybody, but I'm digging it. Yeah, I don't know if it's the. Yeah, it's not the pedal. It might be the. Oh wait, there we just got one. Yeah, okay, so it is clipping. Okay, let me try cranking the gain. Nope. Let's do a little bit less on the sub bass. Yeah, and so here's the thing. I'm not seeing, if you look at the meter here, it's not distorting on the recording software. And it's also not clipping here. So I'm not sure where it's coming from, and everything, like I said, is flat. Oh, you know what? Hold on. So I just changed the pickup blend. I'm going to go to the bridge pickup right now. And I'm going to go to the neck pickup. Okay, so maybe that's it. Nope. So there might be something going on with this bridge pickup. It's okay. It's okay. I think I'm still going to be able to get through this song. No problem. Okay, only other thing I'm going to do, we got the top end that we want. We've got, let me see what that's doing. That's getting more honky. That's too much. That's exaggerated, but that's kind of what I'm going for. It is on the magnetic setting. If you're not on the piezo setting of the pedal, I am not on the piezo. Check that you are not OL your plugins. Correct. Yep, there's no plugins on. They're all off. Could be the battery. Yep, definitely. God, that's so weird to me, just because it's so like, there's so much sizzle and zing that my left hand's trying to compensate for it by doing some muting or something. That's what I find when I play like the active hi-fi instruments. Like my left hand starts to change its technique to kind of mute a little bit and get rid of some of that sizzle. But that's okay. All right, let me balance this track really quick. just gonna pull the track down a little bit. Not in the bass, but the pedal battery. I don't think so because everything's still working, and as you can see, the clip light's not. I think it's the bass. I'll bet it's probably the battery. You know what? This has got. Let's just rule this shit out right now. Hold on. I got batteries here, don't I? No. Damn it! I've got a tech desk right here, and there's no batteries in it. The batteries are gone. That's okay. I think it's still gonna work. I think the tone's still gonna work. I just wish I had a little bit more juice out of it. Or maybe the top end. Yeah, we'll give it a shot. What's the worst that could happen? Here we go. This song is called To the Bitter End. I don't know why we named it that. Because why not? Dial in a little bit more of that top end. Let's dial back some of this high bass, a little bit more of the lows. And this is also my Backstreet Boy moment. It doesn't mean you have to go if you want. I don't know what the words are. So there we go. Sorry that this bass was having some trouble, but I think we got there. I think the sound was decent enough. Really like the top end I was able to get from this. The bite. It's just yeah, we're getting a little bit of distortion from the low end, but again, I think it's the bass. That's okay. Peter pulled up a bunch of. Oh, these are what the knobs are. Okay, so 12 dB at 50. Yep, I could have guessed that. 60 or 160. 630 for the mid, and then 2.5 and 12K. Excellent. Peter, thank you. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah. Okay, so we did some metal, we did some blues. You know what? Let's do one more. You know what? Let's do reggae. Why not? I don't play a lot of reggae. I'm for it. There was this awesome track. Any Metallica fans here? We were talking about the bass channel a second ago. They did a video where they had a bunch of bass players, myself included, play on the same song, but none of us knew what the other guy was doing. So it ended up being like 5 different takes on the same thing. And it was a reggae Metallica song. I'll grab another active 5. Hold on. This one. Oh my goodness. Okay, all right. Let's try this bass out. Okay, we're gonna flatten out the pedal. And I just put new strings on this one, so You guys got to give me a second to stretch them out. I literally, as Phil was calling, as Phil was calling on the Zoom call, I was literally putting the last string on, so I haven't had a chance to, go through and stretch the strings out. What is this bass? This is an M bass made by my good friend John McGinney. It's probably my oldest bass. Buckeye burl top on a mahogany body with maple fingerboard, and then Macassar ebony, I think that's how you say it, on the binding and the pickup covers, inlays. Yeah, awesome instrument. Give me one more second just to do a second stretch. It is sweet. Yeah, I like this one a lot. This is one of my favorites. One of my go-tos. We use it a lot on the show. All right, I think we're good. Close enough for rock and roll. Let me just tune this one up really quick. If you guys have any questions for me or for Phil, Phil is still on the line. He can chime in at any time. So if you guys got any technical questions for him, we can bring him on. Come on. Tune up. Uh-oh. Scratchy pot. You would think that I put this tech desk here so that I could do setups and string changes and soldering work and replace scratchy pots and do stuff. Haven't done any of it. It's just where my mouse sits. Okay, so we're gonna go reggae on this one. Reggae tone, I'm going to start with the low bass cranked as high as it can go. I just gained it down on the computer, so that's why it's quieter. And it seems like we can put it here. And I would almost just leave it here. This right here. That's almost good to go. Okay, let's add some of the high bass in and see what that does. Now, what if we cut it? I'm gonna do the opposite. I'm gonna boost a little bit here and I'm gonna take it out of the mids. Because for the reggae sound, we really do just want a lot of and barely anything in the middle. It's kind of the nature of the piece. So, and then, so that's not doing anything right now. Just adding hiss. I'm telling you, this is a cool combination to be able to dial in some smack, but not having hiss and sizzle. That's really cool. Okay, I'm gonna boost up the volume a little bit. Yeah. I'm just checking my meters over here to make sure I'm not killing it. Like that. Whoops-a-daisy. Yeah, we're getting a little too hot. All right. Let's pull up this one again. This is a reggae version of a Metallica song called what is it? Which one is this? I'm looking for it in my folder right now. The Day That Never Comes. Okay, if you're a Metallica fan, you'll probably recognize this one. I didn't. All right, let me just adjust the volume a little bit. Same thing, guys. Let me know if the bass needs to come up or down or whatever. And we'll try to leave these settings, but I'll adjust and course correct as we go.
them closed. Keep praying, just keep waiting. Waiting for the one. The day that never comes. When you stand up and feel the warmth. But the sunshine never comes. No, the sunshine.
Ooh, listen to what it does to that low beat.
Push across that
Let's see if I can't
line.
play with this a little bit more.
Just stay down this time. Hiding yourself, crawling yourself. You'll have your time. Gotta make them pay. Take it back one day. I'll end this day. I'll splatter color on this grave. Waiting for the one. The day that never comes. When you stand up and feel the warmth. But the sunshine never comes. No, the sunshine never comes. Love is a four-letter word.
I knew it was coming.
And never spoken here. Love is a four-letter word.
We're on the next pickup right now. Here's the bridge pickup.
I suffer this no longer. I'll put it into this I swear. This I swear. This I swear. The sun will rise. This I swear.
Here's both of them together. Yeah, like I said, that's a really, really cool version of that song made by, actually, I don't even know who did that song. I don't know where it comes from. I just know Chris gave it to me. It's the reggae version of The Day That Never Comes. If you look that up on, if you go to the bass channel, that's the name of the bass channel. I go YouTube, the bass channel, and search for 5 bass players, 1 song. That's like a series of videos that they do over there. You'll find it. And I'm pretty sure that you can download the track and play it yourself and all that stuff too. I don't know. I could be wrong. Well, we played 4 different examples with it. We've still got Phil on the line here, so y'all let me know. Did we hit all the bases? Is there anything you still want to go over? Phil, if you can unmute your audio, let's bring you back in here for just a couple of minutes. Can you hear me okay? Okay, hold on, wait. I don't hear you, though. Is that my fault? Try, hit that unmute button for me. That might do it. Yeah, it's all right. Take your time. Check 1, 2. Phil, do me a favor. Count to 5 for me. Yeah, I'm not getting any signal from you. Let me see. Do I have you muted? No, I don't. Well, that's okay. You guys can see Phil. So up and down thumbs, yes and no questions only, apparently. That's all right. Hey, guys, thanks for being here. We went through everything, Phil. If there's anything, any questions they have, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna pull up the, where is it? Not that, but I'm gonna pull up the website for you. Phil Jones Bass. Hold on. There's a, I'm gonna drop a link for it in the products. Where is it? Hold on. We're getting there, people. Stay with me. Hold on. Wait for it. Okay, here's the URL. If you guys want to check it out yourselves, that right there is where you find it. I'm assuming it's got the all the technical specs and the manual and all that good stuff. Okay, hold on. Annette says, I have no question about the PE-5, but just wanted to say how amazing the double 4 is. Hey, Phil, I don't know if you got a double 4 lying around over there, but if you do, can you show us what that is? Because I don't know what the double 4 is. Okay, 1 second. You can come right back. Technology. Technology is fun, people. This is what every episode of my podcast is like. At the very beginning, like, I can't hear you. Do you hear me? Is there, where, can you, what's on? Why isn't this thing working? Is this thing on? Yeah, I don't know why it's not coming through, but it should be. That's okay. That's okay. These things happen. So guys, yeah, we're pretty much at the end here. If there's any other questions you have, please let me know. Phil's going to bring over that double 4, apparently. I take it sailing and scoot around with it. Oh, nice. Running it is your impact driver battery. Oh, shit. Okay, that's cool. Why not? I don't have an impact driver in here. But anyways, let me do this. While Phil's grabbing the double 4, let me just say, I am really impressed with this thing. I like the, like I said, these are my 2 favorite features. Ha! Bookends. This knob, the low bass can pretty much stay up there the whole time. And this high treble, I love that I can crank up some treble and then dial back the hiss and not really be too affected by it. All right, Phil's got something. This right here is a double 4. I'm going to guess it's called a double 4 because it's got 2 4-inch speakers. Is that correct? Yeah, Phil, if you're talking, we can't hear you, but it's a good-looking box. I like that. Ah, that's cool. You're very impressed with this. Oh, Johnny, thank you, man. I appreciate that. And Phil, I appreciate you too, even though we can't hear you right now. It's okay. It's all good. We'll get you, I'm sure there'll be another time. We'll get you back on the podcast. Chat, do me a favor. Thank Phil right now. Just say, Phil, thank you. I mean, you can't do it. You can do this. Here, we'll type this. We'll do this. Everyone type in clap. There you go. Clapping for Phil. Thanks for being here, bro. You're too kind. You're far too kind. Seriously, thank you for, anytime I do one of these demos, I always ask for someone from the company, like, hey, if you want to, like, come on the show. That way it takes some of the pressure off me of me not saying something stupid. I never expect, like, the owner, the guy who creates everything, to show up and give me his time and hang out and help me. So, Phil, really appreciate you, man. Thank you. Thank you so much. And click on that link. They're on Facebook, Instagram, and all this stuff. So, Phil, thank you so much, bro. I'm sure we'll be talking soon, man. You knocked it out of the park with this, dude. These 2 knobs right here, don't change anything. If you ever do an update on this, these 2 you leave the same, or the version you send to me, you leave those 2 the same, man. All right, man. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. And if you want to do this more, I'm on Twitch just about every day, 4 or 5 days a week. So come hang out with me over there. And yeah, we'll have a good time. So thanks so much. Appreciate you. And we'll see you tomorrow on Twitch.